Hey everyone, so I am back with Dinomon Part 2. So I have tried out Dinomon last week at locals, and this is now my second time trying out Dinomon. I have revised my list since then. So actually, after I recorded myself after last week's video, I went right away to deck building and revising, and I changed the deck that very same night. I just didn't have a chance to try it until now. But yeah, here is my Dinomon Week 2 video. And I have made changes because the other deck I didn't really like. But here I'm going to go over my Week 2 deck. And I will also tell you how it went and what changes I would make or how I like this current version. So I'm playing 4 of the EX8 Koromon. So these Koromons have the one attacking inheritable. Once per turn, if this Digimon has Tyramon in its name or the dinosaur trait, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. So I'm playing this one because I want it to be really thematic. So I built my deck to work with this Koromon specifically. I know that a lot of people like the BT14 when attack or when a security card is checked or removed, draw a card. So people really like the BT14 Koromon for draw power. I really like this Koromon to be thematic with the deck, so I'm running this. So I'm playing 4 of these. Last week I did also run a 5th egg, but after playtesting I realized that you don't really need a 5th egg. 4 eggs is plenty. I'm playing 4 copies of the EX1 Agumon. So this Agumon, when attacking, once per turn, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Tamer card or 1 Digimon card with Agumon in name. So Agumon in name is really important because you can also add Agubond of Agubond Ace to hand, and then you return the rest to the bottom of the deck. It is also Reptile, which will be important for the EX8 Tyrannomon of the deck. I'm playing 4 copies of EX8 Red Green Agumon. So 0 to Digivolve off of Koromon. You don't really usually want to Digivolve for 1, though you could Digivolve for 1 off of Koromon. On play effect, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Tyrannomon in its name or the Reptile or Dinosaur trait, and 1 Ryotaro Williams among them to the hand. Return the rest of the bottom of the deck. So basically, on play, grab a Digimon. There are only a few Digimon that you cannot add to hand with this effect. And you also get to grab 1 Ryotaro Williams card. So basically, grab anything from the Dinomon line to hand when you play this, and 1 Ryotaro Williams. Inheritable effects, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP during your turn. I'm trying out a different camera placement, so this is what this is if you were wondering what is next to me. But yeah, this should be a very good bird's eye view of the cards. I'm playing 4 of the green purple Agumons from EX8. So it has the same Digivolution cost as the other Agumon. So 0 off of Koromon. This one cannot Digivolve for 1 off of the red Koromon. So you can only Digivolve this for 0 off of the red Koromon. And then on play effect, you may suspend 1 Digimon, which could be important. But usually that effect doesn't usually come up where you actually need to suspend something. It is nice if you get rid of a blocker, or if you want to combo with Mame Tyramon Inheritable, where if a Digimon is suspended, or your opponent's Digimon is suspended during all turns once per turn, you can unsuspend your Digimon. So if you have this Agumon, you can get a cheeky extra attack in. For example, if you have the Dinomon on top of the Mame Tyramon, you attack. You get those 2 checks, possibly 2 checks, and then you play Agumon. suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Because they're suspended, you have to suspend Dinomon, then you swing for 2 more attacks, or for lethal. But yeah, this is a pretty nice card for T combo. You also have Retaliation on it, which is pretty nice. Your opponent will have to think twice if they are considering deleting your Dinomon, not only because it has Fortitude, but also because it has Retaliation. The Retaliation is nice because you can also swing into things to get rid of them. I'm playing 4 copies of the Liberator EX8 Tyrannomon. So I bumped this up from 2 copies to 4. This Tyrannomon is very good. So Digivolves for 3. However, you can Digivolve for 2 off of a level 3 with Reptile trait. All of your Agumons have the Reptile trait, so you can always Digivolve this for 2. Security effect: at the end of the battle, play this card without paying the cost. Start of your main phase, and when Digivolving, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. I do really like this card because, for example, if you have not enough memory to work with, you can just Digivolve Tyrannomon onto one of your Agumons in the back for 2 cost. And then when you push this out your next turn, since it has the start of main phase effect, it will also get plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. So this can also have a benefit from just pushing out and then going into your main phase. You don't have to Digivolve to get that effect the same turn. So I really like this because you can just Digivolve in the back, and then next turn or a future turn, you can push it out and then get that 3000 DP buff later. As the deck has red and green cards, as well as white cards, it is awkward to use delay options like the training options or the memory boost, because you will bottom deck cards. So you don't have as much versatility in ending your turn by using an option from hand. For example, if you have Agumon in the back, if you had the opportunity to, you could use like trainings, or you could use memory boost to search for your pieces. Next turn, you can push out, go into a Tyrannomon with a when Digivolving, the benefit off of the when Digivolving. However, because it is very awkward to use trainings and memory boosts in this deck, you aren't afforded that versatility in being able to just end turn with that option. So this Tyrannomon being able to Digivolve in the back in order to end your turn, and then also you still get that effect later, is just very important. This is also the reason why I cut BT11 Tyrannomon down to just 2 copies. So I am playing a very tamer heavy deck, but because it is awkward, as I've mentioned, to just, have an Agumon in breeding, you either play this for 5 to be able to play a tamer, or you can Digivolve onto your Agumon for a cost of 3, basically for no effect. The Inheritable is pretty nice, honestly, and it is still very worth running. However, it just feels bad if you are in the position where you have to Digivolve this for 3 for basically no effect when you Digivolve into this. The other EX8 Tyrannomon, because it has the star main phase, you don't feel bad just like Digivolving in the back and then pushing out later. But when you Digivolve in the back in this, basically you're paying 1 extra memory cost than typical level 4 Digivolutions, but you don't get as much of the benefit. So I'm only running this at 2. If the deck did run trainings or memory boosts or similar delay options, then I would, you know, use more copies of this Tyrannomon, since you can play a training or you can play a memory boost and then turn after push out your Agumon and then digivolve the Agumon, and then you still get that really strong when digivolving. However, because you are playing a mixed color deck, it's so awkward to run those delay options that you just don't really want to play this card in high numbers, because there are a significant number of times where you just want to digivolve this in the back. You get no effect off of it, which is kind of unfortunate. But because you can't use those options, it's just awkward to run this in high amounts. And then this card is basically a mandatory 4 for the deck. Tyrannomon X Antibody. You kind of really do want to run this at 4. Digivolves from level 4 with Tyrannomon in name without X Antibody trait. Costs 0. Has Raid. When attacking, if a card with Tyrannomon in its name or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Tyrannomon in its name, or the dinosaur trait in the hand with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So basically, this is a really fancy way of saying that when you attack with this, if you have a Tyrannomon in sources or X Antibody in sources, you can then digivolve into one of your level 5s in this deck with cost reduced by 1, so long as it has dinosaur in traits or Tyrannomon in name, which all of my level 5s do in this deck. So basically you attack, you digivolve into it for 1 less. Basically the effect of the X Antibody option from BT9 or the Ryotaro Williams card that we will go over later. Of course, the cost will be reduced by 1, so it's just more efficiency in going up. The piercing is also very nice. Now level 5s is where we start to see more combo pieces. I'm playing 3 copies of the Master Tyrannomon from EX8. Digivolve level 4 with Dinosaur trait, costs 3. You could digivolve for 4, but usually most of the time you want to digivolve for 3 for that efficiency. Again, if you are digivolving while attacking with the Tyrannomon X Antibody effect, or with the Ryotaro Williams, it will just be cost 2 instead of cost 3. Fortitude on play when digivolving. You may suspend one Digimon, then if this Digimon is suspended, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. Inheritable effect, security attack +1. I really like this Master Tyrannomon a lot. Fortitude does come up. For example, you attack with one of your level 4s, you digivolve into this one while you are attacking. Because you are attacking, you're suspended, so you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon rather than itself. Because this Digimon is suspended, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. So you can delete something, and then check security. Because of your level 4 Tyrannomons, regular Tyrannomons, this will be at least 10k. If you have the EX8 red green Agumon under it, it will be 12k. But yeah, this could be like 10, 12k, possibly 13 or 15k if you have that plus 3,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn effect active. But yeah, this is realistically 10 to 15k when it is checking your opponent's security. Now, if this is deleted in the security check, because as Fortitude, it will just play itself back out. If it is not deleted at this point, then you pass turn. This thing is just like suspended. If your opponent deletes it, because it has Fortitude, it will just replay itself out. However, because I added a level 6 ace to the deck, the Fortitude is really nice. If they delete it, it comes back. If they then attack, you can then blast Digivolve. So Fortitude, absolutely amazing. It gives you more assurance. They can check security and still have this alive in some form after the security check. And then you get to delete stuff when you go into it. Very nice. Security attack +1. Also really nice for the deck. I'm playing 2 of the EX8 Metal Tyrannomon. I know that other people really like this card in higher amounts, but for my deck, I am very comfortable seeing this at 2. If I want to change the ratios of my level 5s so that I would see them more, that would bump this up to 3. However, since I'm playing the typical standard 8 level 5 count, I think that 2 is okay. If I want to play like 9 level 5s for more consistency in seeing my level 5s, because again, I don't run the trainings or memory boosts. So if you run higher ratios, you don't need the trainings or memory boosts as much. But yeah, if I want to balance out the ratios, I could bump this up. But currently I'm just running 2. Digivolve from level 4 Dinosaur trait costs 3. Again, if you are attacking while you Digivolve into this, it will just be cost 2. On play, when Digivolving, you may suspend 1 Digimon. Then if this Digimon is suspended, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. And until the end of your opponent's turn, their effects can't return this Digimon to hands or decks or affect it with de-Digivolve effects. Inherited, all turns once per turn, when this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle, trash their top security card. So this just means that it has to be suspended, just like this Master Tyrannomon, when it is currently Digivolving or when it's played. If it is not suspended already, you can suspend it to get the rest of the effects. Otherwise, you can just feel comfortable suspending your opponent's Digimon. So basically, de-Digivolve 1 can come up, in my opinion, mid to late game. You don't really need more than 2 in terms of having the effects. You could run more if you want to see more consistency in fighting level 5s. But because I don't value this effect as much, I'm just running it at 2. The Inheritable is also nice. It is a safe way to get rid of your opponent's security. However, I still really value security attack +1 from Master Tyrannomon. So I'm only running this at 2. I also don't really love this card. So again, it is like a mid to late game card that you really care about the effect of de-Digivolving something, so it does come up. However, if you want to be more aggro focused, I would replace this with the X Tyrannomon from the Fabled Waltz Liberator starter deck. So that card I don't think sees play at all. However, because it has Armor Purge on it, you can feel very comfortable just like attacking for your level 4, Digivolving into it, and then it continues the attack. If it would be deleted, it has Armor Purge, so it just lives. Inheritable effect has Barrier, so it would protect your Dinomons from deletions via battle, or your other Digimons level 6 and up from deletions via battle. I don't love this Metal Tyrannomon as much. I have very high hopes for the EX9 Metal Tyrannomon, and I'm very looking forward to that support coming out. But yeah, I'm running this at 2 just because it can come up with the de-Digivolve effect mid to late game. Otherwise, it's not as aggressive as the Master Tyrannomon, or this level 5 that I will show you now. I'm playing 3 copies of Mame Terramon. This is a very nice card. Digivolves from a level 4 with Mamemon or Tyrannomon in name, costs 3. It has Collision and Blocker. All turns once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you may unsuspend this Digimon. Rule: name, also treated as having Mamemon or Tyrannomon. So although this is not a dinosaur trait, it does have Tyrannomon in name. So you can Digivolve into it with Tyrannomon X Antibody or with Ryotaro Williams. This is really nice, on top of the Tyrannomon X Antibody, because it has Collision on it. So the combo, you attack with the Tyramon X antibody. When attacking, you go into Mami Tyramon. So what Mami Tyramon is now the top card, is now attacking. It has collision. Collision is an effect that would basically check again before blockers are declared. So even if this card isn't actually the one attacking, my understanding of collision is that because it is like a persistent effect, it is always rechecked. So even if it doesn't have collision while the attack is declared, since it basically gets collision during the attack, your opponent would still have to block it, and then because they block it, you can unsuspend, and then you also get the piercing effect. So this is just really nice. And then you can attack again, and then you force them to block, and then you also get the piercing effect, and that is very nice. Even if you don't want to attack, you don't want to digivolve mid-attack, you can just go up into this, attack, force them to block with piercing, unsuspend, attack again, force them to block with piercing. So this is a nice way to clear board, while also chipping away at your opponent. The inherited effect, all turns once per turn when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you may unsuspend this Digimon. This is again where this purple-green Agumon comes into play. So if you have a level 6 or higher and you want an extra attack, you can just play out that Agumon, force them to suspend a Digimon, unsuspend this Mami Tyramon, or like the Digimon with this Mami Tyramon inheritable, and then attack again. You could also just unsuspend this Mami Tyramon if you don't have a level 6. But yeah, this Agumon, very nice way for the deck to be able to unsuspend and then attack again if you have the Mami Tyramon inheritable. Oh, I did not really touch up on it, but the blocker is also really nice. Blocker, so you can play it out, block your opponent's cards. If you have the protoform, which we'll get to in a bit, under it, and then you block, this thing would, die. And then protoform goes to your security. You would add a source from under it to hand. So this is just really nice. Because this has X antibody, you can, of course, go from any of your level 4s, use protoform, go into it for 2 cost. Really nice just to get the protoform under. The memory efficiency is nice. However, what you really care for is just getting the protoform under, so then once this leaves field, protoform would go to security, and then you add any of your lower levels to your hand. Here is the star of the deck, EX8 Liberator Dinomon. So 13 play costs. Digivolves level 5 with Tyramon in name, or if dinosaur trait costs 4. All of your level 5s have Tyramon in name. So you can always Digivolve for 4. And again, if you are attacking, and then you Digivolve via Ryotaro Williams, then it will just be cost 3. Security attack plus 1, Fortitude. On play when Digivolving, you may suspend 1 Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with the lowest DP. Opponent's turn, while this Digimon is suspended, all of your opponent's Digimon can only attack suspended Digimon. This is a very nice card, so your opponent just can't rush at your security. If this is suspended, they can only attack suspended Digimon, and if this is the only suspended Digimon you have, then by default they have to attack this, which also works really nice because it has Fortitude on it, and it makes plays very awkward for your opponent. So if they have to attack into this to remove it, Fortitude would just bring this back out, and then on play you can suspend a Digimon. So for example, you could also just suspend this when it comes in, so then your opponent can't get other attacks into you as well. So regardless of which Digimon you suspend when you play this back from Fortitude, you then delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with the lowest DP, which is very likely going to be the Digimon that they just attacked over this delete it, and then now you get to delete that Digimon. So because of the effects where they can only attack into suspended Digimon, it is not very likely that after this has already been in play, that they would have suspended lower DP Digimon than the Digimon that just attacked into this, because their lower DP Digimon would not really be able to attack anywhere else. They would have to attack into this. What's really nice is that this is not a redirection effect. So cards that say this Digimon cannot be blocked, or this Digimon's attack target cannot be changed, would not have any effect on having to attack into this Digimon specifically, because you aren't redirecting any attacks. You're just forcing them that if they do attack, they can only select this as a target. So this is just really nice. Chances are very good that once this hits field, and then it's just on the field, your opponent can't attack low DP Digimon. They can attack with high DP Digimon, but they would, if they had to attack into this would just come back and then delete the Digimon that killed it. So this is just really nice. Really nice for the deck. Security attack +1. Very, very nice. So you could swing and then check 2 security. If you have this Master Tyrannomon inheritable, you could check 3 security. If you swing into something with piercing, but also have the Metal Tyrannomon, which doesn't actually come up as much, because again, the when Digivolving, you would delete something. So assuming that they have 2 Digimon out, you could possibly swing into something with piercing, but if they only have the 1 Digimon, the deletion effect is mandatory. So this inheritable is not as good as just getting security attacks, which is also why I value this card less. But yeah, getting 3 security attacks, very nice. It's not as likely to have a piercing target once you go into the Dinomon, because you have to get rid of something. So it's just better to run the security attack +1. I'm playing 3 other level 6s. So I'm playing Mega Gargamon Ace. Digivolves from Rapidmon in name, costs 5. You are not playing any Rapidmons in the deck. Digivolves from a from a black or green level 5 for 4. So all of your level 5s share the green color, so they can all go into Mega Gargamon Ace. So that is really nice. When I was playing the deck last week, I realized just how often I ended turn with a level 5. For example, going back to this Master Tyrannomon, this Master Tyrannomon is very good with the Fortitude. It can just live. You can just, check security with it. If it lives, very likely because of a very high possibility of being 10,000 DP or more. 10 to 15,000 DP actually. So this would most likely live security attack. If it does live, and then your opponent attacks, you can just go into Mega Gargo Ace, which is just like a surprise that they don't expect in a Dinomon deck. But surprisingly, this works so well in a Dinomon deck. You also feel comfortable ending turn for Mommy Tyramon. Sometimes if you just want a blocker out, you can just play this for a cost of 6, which is very efficient for a level 5 with an effect. But yeah, 6 play cost, you get this blocker out, your opponent's like, oh, your blocker is only 6,000 DP, I'll just attack because my Digimon is higher. And then you just blast into the Mega Gargo Ace. Mega Gargo Ace is very nice for the deck. It has blocker, it has reboot. When Digivolving, suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Then 2 of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend or Digivolve until the end of their turn. So if you were to Digivolve into this during your turn, you can basically stop them from blast Digivolving 2 specific Digimon or Tamers. technically, because of Susano Ace, you could technically blast Digivolve off of that. But also suspending their Digimon or Tamers during their turn would mean that they get fewer attacks on you. So this can actually save you from lethal, or it could give you lethal itself, because you basically stop them from interfering with your attacks via blast digivolving. So this is just really nice, either if you blast into it or if you go into it during your turn. One digivolving end of attack once per turn of this Digimon may unsuspend. So if you go into any of your level 5s, you can unsuspend this. And then now you have this really big blocker, 12,000 DP. If you go into a level 5 during your opponent's turn, right after EX8 Tyrannomon's effect is active, this will actually be a 15,000 DP blocker because that effect lasts until the end of your opponent's turn. So while that effect is active, this is actually 15,000 DP during your opponent's turn, which is really nice. You can surprise people. They are not expecting a 15,000 DP blocker out of nowhere. You can suspend their Digimon so you prevent lethal. It's just really nice for the deck. What is also very, very nice is that Tyrannomon X Antibody giving piercing is generic. And also Master Tyrannomon giving security attack +1 is generic. Your DP buffs in the deck are also generic. Basically, all of your inheritables in this deck do not care about if you have Tyrannomon in name or not, which is nice because, you know, obviously you're playing Dinomon, which doesn't have Tyrannomon in name. But because all of your inheritables, with the exception of this Coromon, which specifically needs a dinosaur trait or Tyrannomon in name, are generic, then you benefit from basically everything except for the egg. So this could be, for example, plus 2,000, plus 2,000. It could be like 16,000 DP on your turn when attacking, which has happened tonight when I played at locals. You know, it's just pretty easy to reach 16,000 DP from your inheritables. And also, the security attack +1, very, very, very nice. So you attack with this at 16,000 DP, check 2 security cards. Realistically, this thing is going to live. End of attack, this Digimon may unsuspend, and then you check 2 more security cards. 4 security cards gone in the same turn, and then you just attack with the rookie that you pushed out of raising for lethal. So you basically get 4 checks off of this Digimon itself, and then you just swing with the rookie that you brought out of raising. Very nice way to close the game. Your opponent will not suspect it, but this ace is just very, very good for the deck. It's not thematic, but it just works so well. It can go off of any of your level 5s. You can't digivolve into it with Ryotaro Williams, but you really don't need to. For example, let's say that you do digivolve into this with Ryotaro Williams, then you won't be able to blast digivolve during your opponent's turn. So, you know, it's just better for you most of the time to just keep this in your hand anyways for once you do blast digivolve. So you don't really want... You wouldn't really want to use Ryotaro Williams to go into this anyways. You cannot, but even if you could, you probably would not want to. Just keep in your hand and turn on a level 5 comfortably. You know, sometimes in games, I do have the Dinomon in hand, but I don't want to go into the Dinomon. Depending on the board state, I sometimes just want to end turn on a level 5. I do not want to trigger Ryotaro to go into Dinomon. So end turn on a level 5. Sometimes you just really want to blast into Mega Gargo Ace and then stop your opponent's game plan. Or come up with a surprise blocker. But yeah, this is a really nice complementary piece for Dinomon. So Dinomon is really nice at protecting your life during your opponent's turn because they can only target suspended Digimon for attacks. This is also really good at removal, removing your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP that is suspended. And also this can aggro for security attack +1. This Mega Gargo is also aggro. It can attack 2 times in a turn. Coupled with Master Tyrannomon is just insane. And then it is also a really nice defensive piece as well. You basically guarantee that they can't blast Digivolve during your attack. Uh, if if they have like specific Digimon that you target, this can attack 2 times, security attack +1, so basically 4 checks. Really nice blocker effect. Um, Very nice during your opponent's turn when they are attacking, so you can just live from what would otherwise be lethal. Now for the tamers, no, actually no, I lied. I'm playing 2 level 7s in the deck. So I'm playing 2 Agumon Aces. I did run more last week, but because my Genai strategy did not work, I have reduced this to 2. I don't really need more. This is really nice. You can blast off of Dinomon into this, or you can blast off of any of your Agumons into this while you have 2 or fewer security cards. Even if you do not blast, your Agumons can just Digivolve into this for a cost of 3 while you have 2 or fewer security cards. So you can just push Agumon out, Digivolve into 3. Attack, trash security, maybe have lethal. But yeah, this is a really nice way to... this is a really nice card for the deck, but I would not run more. On play, when Digivolving, delete up to this Digimon's DP's total worth of your opponent's Digimon. I don't really Digivolve into this card. I usually do not. Technically, it could go off of Dinomon for 3, and then if your opponent only has 1 security card, you can attack, trash their security, close the game that way. But that has not come up so far in my 2 weeks of basically playtesting at locals. So, I don't know. This is mainly for Blast Digivolving off of Dinomon if you need it. Blast Digivolving off of an Agumon, when you probably need it. Or just playing and then deleting up to 14,000 DPs worth of Digimon. When attacking, once returned, if you have a Tamer, trash your opponent's top security card. So this is just a nice way. For example, once you have established Dinomon on field, this is just a nice protective layer, so they can delete stuff that would possibly threaten Dinomon, or after Dinomon has been replayed out with Fortitude. This is just a nice way to go off of it, or off of any of your Agumons. But yeah, this is just a nice card. I just don't value it as much as my other cards in this deck. Now for the Tamers. Of course, I'm playing 4 of the Ryotaro Williams. This is basically a 4 of for the deck. So, starve your main phase. If your opponent has a Digimon, gain 1 memory. Your turn effect, when one of your Digimon with Terramon in its name attacks, by suspending this Tamer, that Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Terramon in its name, or the dinosaur trait in the hand with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. Security effect, as always, play this card without paying the cost. So basically, again, just like the Terramon X effect, Terramon in name attacks, and then you Digivolve into Terramon or dinosaur trait, cost reduced by 1. I believe so. Yep. So, I was just talking to myself. So I was thinking about what cards are left in the deck. I have 2 Tagas from BT11. All turns, or your turn, all of your Digimon get plus 1000 DP. Your turn, when one of your green Digimon would Digivolve into a level 5 or higher card, by suspending this Tamer, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So, all of your level 5 and level 6 Digimon are green. So when your level 5 or level 6 Digimon Digivolve, then you reduce cost by 1. Your Agumon is not green, but it doesn't need to be green. As long as the Digimon that is about to Digivolve is green, then you can reduce cost by 1. So yeah, this is pretty nice. This also more easily sets up into the Mega Gargamon Ace Digivolve during your turn, if you want to Digivolve into it during your turn. But yeah, you can have more DP with this Taiga. So when you do play out Agu Bond Ace from your hand, instead of deleting 14,000 DP, you can delete 15,000 DP, which is kind of nice. You also have more DP for you to be able to safely check security. Because you usually do not want your Digimon to die in security checks. I don't think that you ever want them to die in security checks in this deck. But yeah, this is just a nice card to splash in. I'm playing 3 copies of Digimon Emperor. Okay. All turns, when one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this tamer to draw 1. So this is a pretty nice draw card for the deck, just because, again, you aren't playing the trainings, you aren't playing the memory boosts, so having Digimon Emperor out, you can more easily find your deck pieces once Digimon are deleted, and this deck does have a significant amount of deletion effects, as well as collision, as well as suspending effects, so you can easily get rid of your opponent's Digimon. And then you would get the draw 1 if that Digimon is level 5 or lower. If it's level 6 or level 7, you don't get that effect, or no level, you don't get that effect. But if it's level 5 or lower, you can basically draw when you delete stuff. Opponent's turn. When one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from their breeding area to the battle area, gain 2 memory. So why am I playing Digimon Emperor? Because there were not really good 3-cost tamers that I really wanted to play in this deck. So Ryotaro Williams is just like the mandatory 4 of for the deck. But then, like, what other 3-cost tamers do I really care for? And I kept thinking about it, and I don't really care for much 3-cost tamers for this deck. But Digimon Emperor is just nice. Why 3-cost specifically? Because I'm playing these Tyrannomons. It just feels fun. When you Digivolve into this Tyrannomon and then play out a Ryotaro, a Taiga, or a Digimon Emperor. Or, you can just hard play this from hand for 5, and then play out the Tamer. So, it's just fun to play out free Tamers for me. So I'm playing 2 of these Tyrannomons, and I'm playing 9 of these 3-cost Tamers. So intuitively, you might think, oh, I'm playing so many 3-cost tamers, I should play more of these BT11 Tyrannomons. But again, because of the issue of not having trainings or memory boosts in the deck, it's significantly awkward to be able to Digivolve into this at a really nice time. Or just playing it for 5 sometimes can be awkward. Usually it is always awkward, but you just kind of go with it. But I would not run this in higher amounts because it is awkward to just play for 5 or just Digivolve for 3. You could, for example, play out the Searcher EX8 Agumon for 3, and then Digivolve into this for 3, play out a Tamer, which isn't as bad. But you don't also want to leave a level 4 5,000 DP Digimon in the middle of the field, because this is just so easy for your opponent to remove. So it's not really awkward in that you don't have the ability to wait and then push out and then Digivolve. It's really awkward that because you can't Digivolve this in a safe place, you don't really just want to leave it out in the middle of the field where it's just vulnerable. But yeah, I'm only running this at 2. 4 Ryotaros, 2 Taigas, 3 Digimon Emperors, 2 X Antibiotic Protoform. While you have a Digimon, you can ignore color requirements when you use this card. Security effect, add this card to hand. Main effect, one of your Digimon with X antibody can Digivolve into a Digimon with X antibody. In traits, in the hand with the cost reduced by 1. If it did, place this card as its bomb Digivolution card. Name also treated as X antibody. Inherited effect. All turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effects. From this Digimon's Digivolution cards, return one Digimon card to the hand and place one X antibody as your top security card. So this is really nice. For example, if you have any of these lovely Agumons and you have the Tyrannomon X antibody, but you don't have one of your Tyrannomons out, you can just use a protoform, go from Agumon into Tyrannomon X antibody for 2 cost, and because it has X antibody protoform in sources, the when attacking effect is active. So this is just really nice for when you don't have a Tyrannomon, but you have Tyrannomon X antibody, and you want that effect active, use a protoform, you can have that effect. For when you attack, go into level 5. It's just a really nice card to have. You could also have one of your level 4s, have one of your level 4s use protoform, and then go into Mami Tyramon because it has X antibody and traits. Why would you do that? Because X antibody is just a really nice card to have in your sources. So then once your Digimon would leave field, you basically recover this card to your security, add a source from the deleted Digimon, or like removed Digimon, to your hand. So this is just really nice. So after using this deck tonight at locals, I kind of do want to run Protoform at 3. Protoform at 2 doesn't feel good. And what I mean by that is that there were games where I would have Agumon, and I did not see my Tyrannomons. I only saw Tyrannomon X antibody, and being the only level 4 that I had in hand, I would have to Digivolve my Agumon into the Tyrannomon X antibody. But of course, because I did not see my Protoform, and because I don't have a Tyrannomon in sources, that would mean that this Tyrannomon X antibody does not have that when attacking effect active. So the when attacking effect, absolutely amazing for the deck, right? This is why you're playing Tyrannomon X antibody at 4. Now, because that when attacking effect is not active, this is essentially a bad Digivolution. You Digivolve for 3, get no when attacking, get no when Digivolving. It has raid on it, which is kind of nice, but you kind of want to advance up in the deck. If this effect is not active, it's just a really expensive 3 cost to Digivolve into. You really want to have that effect active, and because you might not see your Tyrannomons all the time, I would bump this X antibody protoform up. So in terms of what I would remove to bump it up, I have the 12 Agumons. These are just staying in the deck. I would not remove anything to make the Agumon count less than 12. So that is just not something that I would touch. Tyrannomon, also pretty good at 10. If anything, I would add more to it than remove it. But for now, I'm keeping it at 10. Same thing for level 5s. If I were to change the ratios, I would add another Male Tyrannomon. I would not remove anything from the level 5 count. Basically, the only things I would remove realistically are one of these tamers. So either a Taiga or a Digimon Emperor. And then put in another X antibody protoform. But basically, this deck is very, very close to what I would keep this deck as. The only difference being that I would add in another protoform and remove a Taiga or Digimon Emperor, depending on basically which one I want to remove. I feel like I like Digimon Emperor more than Taiga. Taiga is an okay effect, but I feel like Digimon Emperor is just better. You kind of want the draw engine for the deck, and also to limit your opponent from just rushing you down aggressively. So Digimon Emperor is just really good. Taiga, I feel like, is a fun card, but you don't really need Taigas in the deck. Taiga will buff up your Digimon by 1,000. It will also reduce the Digivolution cost of your green Digimon Digivolving into a level 5 or a level 6 or even a level 7. But, I feel like although these effects are nice, having more protoforms is just better. Honestly, I could see the argument where because you have the deck space for it, you would just remove both Taigas and then add in 2 X-Antibody protoforms if you want to. I cannot undersell this card on how good this card is for the deck. Now, honestly, I think that the sweet spot is probably 3. However, if you really want to guarantee that you will see this card in your games, playing this at 4 is not a bad idea. Because playing this at 4, you're just like, well, I have an extra X-Antibody protoform in my hand that I don't really have an opportunity to use. You're like, wow, I wish that were a different card. But realistically, when you do reach that point, you're just like, wow, I'm actually seeing my X-Antibody protoforms for when I actually do need it. So don't think about it as having extra cards in your hand that are really clunky. Think about it as improving the consistency of your Agumons being able to go into Toramon X Antibody, having that one attacking effect active, Digivolving for 1 less, being able to recover this card when the Digimon leaves play, adding one of those Digimon sources to hand. This card, even if you feel like you're seeing it way too much if you run this at 3 or at 4, I will guarantee you now that you kind of do want to see it more than you do want to see it less. So only running at 2, I just did not really see this card at all. And this card is what really makes Toramon X Antibody very good. So honestly, I think that I would just remove both Taigas. Because I did change the BT11 Tyrannomon count to 2 copies, I don't need as many Tamers, and Taiga's effect, while nice, I don't think that warrants taking up 2 deck slots for the deck. So honestly, I would just replace it with 2 copies of X-Antibody Protoform. If you do want to see a Taiga, you definitely can. You can just run 1 Taiga, and then 3 X-Antibody Protoforms. But I think that for me, because I really value this card a lot more than I thought that I would, I would run this at 4. You could run like BT9 X Antibody if you want to. There are 2 reasons off the top of my head why you would want to do that. So let's say that you have any of your level 4s out. It doesn't have to be this level 4 specifically, although I can see it also working with this level 4 very well. Actually, no, it does not. Never mind. So, basically any of your level 4s with the BT9 X Antibody. So basically, pretend that this is BT9 X Antibody. You slide it under, then you attack, and then you can Digivolve into Mamiteramon. Or that was not a good example, but you can Digivolve into Mamiteramon when you attack with your other Tyrannomons. And then if you have the Ryotaro, if you only have 1 Ryotaro, you can then Digivolve up into the Dinomon. So that would be an example of why you could possibly want to run BT9X Antibody. You could also really benefit from if you have to make the awkward play of Digivolving on top of your Agumon and raising, pushing it out, and then sliding the BT9X Antibody under, then this effect would be active. You can go into any of your level 5s. Or if you just want to re-enable Fortitude. So let's say that Master Tyrannomon or your Dinomon is deleted, comes back out with no sources, but you want to re-enable Fortitude. So you just slide X antibody under your Digimon. It will have a source under, so it would have Fortitude again. So that could be a reason why you would run BT9 X antibody. However, I still believe that because those situations are not as impactful as just having the protoforms recycle sources to your hand and going to security and also reducing distribution cost by 1, I feel like X antibody protoform is just better in this deck. Again, if you want to re-enable Fortitude, that is probably the best reason to run X antibody over protoform as, an optional 4th copy. But I feel like at minimum, you would want 3 of the X antibody protoforms, possibly a 4th X antibody protoform, or a regular X antibody as the 4th. However, minimum 3 of the protoforms. For me, I think I'm running 4 of the protoforms now because of how good I think it is in actually being able to get this effect active. But yeah, that was my deck profile video for Dinomon Week 2. I feel like this would be my last update for the video, for the Dinomon deck, until maybe we get future cards like EX9 Metal Tyrannomon and possibly more EX9 Tyrannomon line cards. We can only hope. But I feel like this deck is where I want it right now. I will change the Taigas into protoforms. And then basically everything else I will not change until EX9 support comes out. We are also getting a really nice Rust Tyrannomon promo card once set 2.5 drops. However, I think that Rust Tyrannomon would just be in a separate deck, so I would not modify this Dinomon deck with the Rust Tyrannomon. It would work in this deck as well, but I want to keep the flavor of Dinomon as unchanged as I can. So I don't want to introduce Rust Tyrannomon into this deck, so I will make that into a separate deck. But yeah, this Dinomon deck is pretty good right now. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. It was just really nice to play this deck at locals. I will continue playing it. It's just a really nice, fun deck to play. But yeah, thanks for watching.